Hello again and welcome. Good morning. How are you? You look sleepy today. Hey, are you okay? I'm okay. I'm here, 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, 6 en Canarias. Oh, 6 o'clock in the Canary Islands. Some people get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch me. Qué valor. Right, Marta? Getting up at 6 o'clock. Eso se llama true love. True love. Love is a mini splendid thing. Yes, sir. True love. Learning English. All right. Let's start. Manos a la obra. Let's get down to business. Let's get down to work. Let's get to work. Let's get down to business. Manos a la obra. Let's get down to work. Let's get to work, sin el down, si prefieres. Or let's get down to business. Down to business. This is serious. All right. Gain Fluency, our famous book, page 56. Paragraph number 485. In the middle, 485. Are you ready? This paragraph is difficult, okay? Even though everyone thought we would fail in our attempt to win an absolute majority, we worked hard, visited every city, and ended up winning 70% of the vote. Okay, here we're talking about elections. And the person who is speaking is a candidate, perhaps, for the election, is the candidate, or perhaps is the manager of the campaign, la campaña electoral, the electoral campaign. The person who's speaking maybe is the manager, even though everyone thought we would fail. Claro, todo el mundo pensaba que fracasaríamos. Yeah, everybody thought I would fail too. When I started my radio project, everybody thought I would fail when I started the television project. Everybody thought I would fail when I started the Vaughan Town project. People always think, don't listen to other people if you have interesting or good ideas. Persevere. Never give up. Keep working, keep trying, focus. Concentrate, and you will succeed. All right, but even though, aunque todo el mundo pensase, even though everyone thought que fracasaríamos, even though everyone thought we would fail in nuestro intento, in our attempt to win an absolute majority, mayoría absoluta, it's not easy to win absolute majority. But we were trying to win absolute majority. And even though everyone thought we would fail, fracasar, fail, in our attempt, intento, tentativa, intento, esfuerzo, attempt, que suene la P y la T al final. Even though everyone thought we would fail in our attempt to win an absolute majority, we worked hard, visited every city and town, and ended up winning 70% of the vote. 70%, Marta. That's a good absolute majority. We visited every city and town. Every city and town. Like Harry Truman. In 1948, November 1948, were the elections in the United States. And the candidate of the Democratic Party was Harry Truman. And he was a sitting president. And the candidate for the Republican Party was John Dewey. John Dewey. And everybody thought Dewey was going to win. All of the polls, all of the surveys, los sondeos se dice polls. Polls. P-O-L-L-S. No lo confundes con la posición pole en la Fórmula 1. That's pole, escrito pole. Pole, que es poste. Pole. The pole position of the polls means los sondeos o encuestas. Survey is encuesta. Poll is sondeo. But basically they're the same. In 1948, the poll said that Harry Truman was going to lose. He was going to lose. But he decided on the evening of the previous day, because in the United States no existe la jornada de reflexión. You can continue advertising yourself until midnight. And Harry Truman did that, but in California, because California has a lot of electoral votes. And he was on a train, at the back of the train, and it's called a whistle stop tour. Whistle is el silbato, el pito del tren. All right, the whistle. Whistle stop, it stops in a village. People come, Harry Truman spoke to them, to the next town, to the next. Small towns, boom, 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 boom. For 7 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours. On the day previous, until midnight, he stopped. And he won. And the next day, well, the following day after the elections, he showed, you can see if you go into Google, Truman, Chicago Tribune, La Tribuna de Chicago, el periódico. Truman, Chicago Tribune. And Truman is laughing and holding up the newspaper of the Chicago Tribune, and it says, Dewey defeats Truman. Dewey derrota Truman. It's not true. Truman defeated Dewey. But the newspaper thought it was so sure that Dewey was going to win that they finished their newspaper and threw the rotativo to the streets with the wrong news. All right. And so that's what happened here. Even though everyone thought we would fail in our attempt to win an absolute majority, we worked hard, hay que trabajar duro, eh? We worked hard, visited every city and town, and ended up, y terminamos ganando, acabamos ganando, terminamos por ganar, and ended up winning an absolute majority. You know, winning 70% of the vote. Yes, to end up. To end is acabar, terminar, cosas. This class will end in 15 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. This class will end. No se dice this class will finish. Las cosas no finish. Las cosas end. Yo finish. Las personas finishemos. Okay. I finish, you finish, she finishes. This class will end when when Marta decides to finish it. All right. It's her decision. So, but to end, so to say I end, es imposible decir yo termino. I end. She ends. It's impossible. No existe. ¿Cuándo vas a terminar, Richard? When are you going to end? No. When are you going to finish? Ahora bien, si añades up, end up, ya es otra cosa. Eso es terminar por. Terminarás por odiar este estudio, ¿a que sí? Yeah, you will end up hating this television studio. Yeah, I'm up to here with this radio studio. Hey, Richard, are you up to here with Marta? Not yet. Oh, no, not yet. But no, I'm not up to here with Marta. We're good friends. We get along. Nos llevamos bien. We get along. La palabra well es opcional. We get along very well, ¿a que sí? Don't we? El a que sí, en inglés, es el verbo auxiliar correspondiente. Nos llevamos bien el año pasado, ¿a que sí? We got along last year, didn't we? Nos llevaremos bien el próximo año, ¿a que sí? Won't we? Don't we? Won't we? Couldn't we? All right. So, let's go on. So, they won an absolute majority, even though, aunque, even though, también nos vale although. Although everyone thought we would fail, even though everyone thought we would fail, what's the difference? Not much. Although is muy neutral, muy tranquilo. Even though is más contraposición. Wow, fíjate. Even though, it's a little bit more impactful, let's say. Even though everyone thought we would fail in our attempt to win an absolute majority, we worked hard. We visited every city and town, and we ended up winning 70% of the vote. Not bad, right? Not bad. 70%, yeah. That's not common nowadays. The next one, paragraph 486. The rules say, ¿qué dicen las reglas? Las reglas dicen. The rules say that you can't move the piece more than 2 spaces if you're in the red zone. Your piece is in the blue zone. So you can move it as many spaces as you want. Están jugando al parchís, creo, o algo parecido. They're playing, in Inglés, parchís, we say parchisi. La palabra italiana, parchisi. Let's play a game of parchisi. All right. And so you move the piece. ¿Se dice la pieza? Okay, the piece. We say the same thing, piece. You move the piece around the board. El tablero? Yeah, the board. I've never played. I've been living in Spain for 7 centuries, and I've never played a board game in Spain. When I was growing up, a boy, I played board games all the time. I played Monopoly all the time, Monopoly. I played Monopoly, and I was good in Monopoly. It teaches you how to be a businessman or a businesswoman, yeah, to buy and sell, wheeler dealer, etc. But in any case, this is, you move your piece. Now, the rules. Vamos a mirar las reglas. A ver. The rules, Marta, tu pieza, espera, Marta, a ver las reglas. Let's look at the rules. Marta y yo estamos jugando. We're playing parchisi. All right. The rules say that you can't move your piece more than 2 spaces, 1 space, 2 space, if you're in the red zone. La zona roja del tablero. Okay. Your piece is in the blue zone, so you can move it as many spaces as you want. Yeah. The rules say that you can't move your piece more than 2 spaces if you're in the red zone. Your piece is in the blue zone. No problem. So you can move your piece as many spaces as you want. No? Ya lo memoricé la primera, Marta, no está mal. I think. A ver si lo dije. Let's see. The rules say that you can't move. Move is trasladar o mover. To move también es conmover. Me mueve, me conmueve. Yes. It was a very moving very moving film. Una película muy conmovedora. The rules say that you can't move your piece more than 2 spaces if you're in the red zone. Fijaos, zone, como uso la Z. La zona. The territory, the zone. Your piece is in the blue zone, so, por lo tanto, so you can move it as many spaces as you want. No problem. The next one. Okay, this is crazy. Son 3 científicos, Marta, tratando de entender el lenguaje de los delfines. Están estudiando los delfines. They're recording everything. The dolphins are. And the dolphins are looking at the scientists and saying things. But the scientists can't figure it out. The dolphins are looking at us. And apparently it seems that the dolphins are talking to us. And the 3 scientists are concentrating, trying to understand. All right, the scientists were trying to understand dolphin language. But they finally gave up. Ya está, tirar la toalla. To give up is to give up, to throw in the towel. They finally gave up. They were never able to decipher habla español, the sound that the dolphins kept saying. The dolphins were saying the sound, habla español. They couldn't figure it out. Well, the dolphins were speaking Spanish. And these scientists don't know Spanish. And so they were not able to understand. The scientists were trying. Estaban intentando. The scientists were trying to understand dolphin language. But they finally gave up. They were never able to understand the habla español sound. ese sonido, habla español. They were never able to figure it out. Habla español, español. What does that mean? Of course, the scientists didn't speak Spanish, and they didn't know Spanish. So they didn't realize that those two dolphins were Spanish-speaking dolphins, okay? So let's go on to the next one. One more. There were times, 488. All right. You know, as time goes by, I have more and more trouble reading these things. There were times when I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to complete my degree. Some of the subjects were really hard, and I had a very demanding girlfriend, but I made it to the end. Okay, but I made it to the end. But I made it to the end. I made it to the end. Lo hice, I made it. Al final, ¿qué significa? Lo conseguí llegar al final. There were times, hubo momentos durante la carrera universitaria, ojo. There were times when I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to complete my degree. Ahora, esta gramática, claro, I wasn't sure no estaba seguro que iba a poder. I wasn't sure I was going to be able. Esto cuesta. There were times when I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to completar mi carrera, o sea, terminar mi carrera. I wasn't going to complete my degree. Yes, some of the subjects were really hard, difficult. Some of the subjects were really hard. And I had a demanding girlfriend, no? Y tenía una novia muy exigente. And I had a very demanding girlfriend. ¿Por qué estudias tanto? Vamos al cine, come on. And so she was very demanding. So I had to study, but I had to entertain my girlfriend as well. Yes. So it was tough. It was tough for me. It was hard. Some of the subjects, algunas de las asignaturas, some of the subjects. Subject, además de tema, significa asignatura académica. Subject. Some of the subjects. Los nativos decimos samada, Samantha, o the Samantha, samada. Some of the subjects. O sea, el of, o F, se convierte en una A simple. Sama. Como dicen los británicos, el verano, this summer. Los americanos, this summer. Este verano, this summer. Some of the subjects were really hard. And I had a very demanding girlfriend, encima, on top of everything. But, ¿qué dice? I made it to the end. Logré llegar al final. I made it. We made it. We made it to the end. Es llegar, por fin. We made it to the end. Okay. One more time. There were times. Hubo momentos. Times aquí no son tiempos, ni veces, momentos. There were times when I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to complete my degree. So, I had moments of doubt. Momentos de duda. I had moments of doubt. Am I going to be able to complete my degree? My God, some of the subjects are so hard. And my girlfriend, my God, she's very demanding. But I did it. Lo conseguí. I did it. I managed to make it to the end. Now, I did it. Oh, we did it. Lo hemos conseguido. Lo he conseguido. Champán. All right. But I made it means llegué al final. Llegué. Boom. We made it. I finally made it. All right. One more. If you go to the United States and you rent a car and you drive around the United States, I have some advice for you before you go. And this is the advice. If the police stop you, they'll ask you for your driver's license, ID, bueno, al revés. They'll ask you for your ID, driver's license, and car papers. Make sure you have everything with you before you start the trip. And never talk back to the police. Like you see here in Spain, sometimes people talk back to the police. Yeah. Now, this is not exactly true in the United States. In this paragraph, there's one word that is not true about the United States. Do you know what word it is? Todo esto es verdad, menos una sola palabra que no es aplicable a Estados Unidos. A ver si te enteras. See if you can figure out what word in this paragraph is not applicable to driving in the United States. Listen. If the police stop you, they'll ask you for your ID, driver's license, and car papers. Los papeles del coche, car papers. Make sure you have them. Well, make sure you have everything with you before you start the trip. Okay? And never talk back to the police. To talk back is ser respondón. To talk back. Es hablar de vuelta. Literalmente. To talk back. Wait. No. Sorry. Not in the United States. Don't talk back to the police. If the police stop you, ahora una vez más, identify what part of this is not applicable in the United States. Si la policía te para, if the police stop you, if the police stop you, te pedirán, they'll ask you for your ID, tu carnet de identidad, identification, ID. They'll ask you for your ID, driver's license, carnet de conducir, and car papers. 3 things. ID, driver's license, and car papers. Make sure you have everything with you. Asegúrate. Make sure. Be sure es que estés seguro, pero asegúrate, que es más, it's more proactive. Make sure you have everything with you. Que tengas todo contigo. Asegúrate que tienes todo contigo. Before you start the trip, okay? Before starting or before you start the trip. And never talk back to the police, okay? Yes, officer. Yeah, aquí se decía agente, de acuerdo a agente. En yes, officer, oficial. Yes, officer. Of course, officer. Etc. Okay, the only element in this paragraph that is not applicable to the United States is ID. In the United States, we don't have identification card. It doesn't exist. No existe carnet de identidad in Estados Unidos. You don't. Your driver's license is used for your ID. And because practically everybody has a driver's license. And if you don't have a driver's license, you tell the policeman your name. Okay, and that's it. It's a different approach, but IDs don't exist. It's interesting. People say, how can you live without an ID? I don't know. We have never needed an ID in the United States. In general, está cambiando, pero in general, it's a society based on confidence, on trust. So when the policeman stops you, well, the policeman stops you walking in the street, not driving a car, and he asks for your identification, you tell him your name, and if necessary, your address and telephone number. Or you show the policeman your driver's license. But that's the only identification most people have, is the driver's license. All right? So it's interesting. One more and we'll finish this page. How much time, Marta? Okay, the last paragraph on page 56 6. Are you ready? I didn't know you were such a talented pianist. Wow, I didn't know. I didn't know you were such a talented. La da 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 dum. Lun dun 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 dun. Lun dun dun dun. I didn't know. Wow. Manolo. Wow. ¿Cómo toca? I didn't know you were such a talented pianist. Yeah. What don't you know how to do? ¿Qué es lo que no sabes? Sabes hacer todo. Yeah. You run a company, you publish articles, and you're a famous wine taster. What else can you do? He's muy polifacético, Manolo. You're very multifaceted. We say multifacético in English. You're very multifaceted. Congratulations. I didn't know you were such a talented pianist. My God. Surprise, surprise, surprise. And I'll come back and finish this paragraph in tomorrow's program. Okay, take care.